All right, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Is there anyone here for the first time? No? Thank you, Ms. Z. Ms. Z is one of the senior managers at Artemis. She's joining us today. We got DeWitt Delancey, he's our new manager. And then we got Jason Simmons, one of our board of directors. Then our lawyer, Chris Wright, Corey Gagnon, myself, Mario Cordova, and Herman Perez.
And
we're gonna
online.
And we have Scott Monahan also online, who's another board of director. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm calling this meeting to order. It's 7:04. Or is it 09? No, 4. All right, we have quorum. We have 4 out of 7 members here present. Proof of notice. Manager, did you get proof of notice? 48 hours in advance? Can you say yes, please?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna turn it over to the homeowners. Is there anybody that wants to comment on the agenda? Only the agenda, please. At the end, we would have comments for anything else you guys want to talk about. ¿Hay alguien aquí que no habla inglés? Si alguien que quiera hacer un comentario sobre los artículos que están en la agenda, ahora es el momento, puede venir al podio a hablar. Si no, vamos a movernos. All right, I think we're good with that, so we're going to move on. We're going to approval of the minutes for the last meeting. Everybody got a chance to read those minutes? Do we have any corrections or discussion on that? Guys, no? No corrections? Sure. Okay. All right.
Let me see if Scott has something.
Nothing?
Scott, do you got any question about the minutes?
There you go. And unmute myself. No, I'm good.
Welcome.
Make motion to approve the July 27 board meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Corey, seconded by Jason. All in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Managers report. Any updates or concerns?
So we have the manager's summary report, operating cash flow of $423,079, 17 cents. Okay. $423,000 operating cash. Okay, outstanding balance. Okay, we have line item 60600 postage, 70.
Projects, updates on the community projects.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I consulted with Ping, and he's the handyman, and he's doing construction around the community. He actually gave us a list of repairs that were completed. He completed most of the repairs on all of the townhome units. So we have a sheet on page 5 here that has all the work that was completed by him and any external vendors highlighted in yellow. He's also provided us with a date that he could come and handle any work orders on the property once a month. He's considering the 15th to the 18th based on the board's approval for any monthly visits.
Any other outstanding items?
There's no other outstanding items as it pertains to the handyman's updates for the community at the moment.
Any updates from Ball and Janik? I saw them kind of working on roofs today or something. We know anything that's going on with that?
Yeah, so we have that hit on the construction defects aspect. Ball Janik actually told us that they will be giving us the results of their inspection from the 9th of August, and that will be provided within the next 30 to 60 days. That they were on the property today just doing some inspections on a few units for the soffit and stuff, for repairs. And we'll definitely go into detail once we push the line on the agenda.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Legal counsel, are we ready?
Yeah, so at the request of the board, I went back and I pulled some numbers on how we're doing with collections. In February of this year, we had 53 properties that had a balance over $400. And this month, we have 24 properties that have a balance of over $400. So that's a reduction by 55% of the number of properties that have a balance over $400. And just for informational purposes, that takes us from a collections number of about $75,800 for those block of properties. It drops it to $35,000. So it's about a $40,000 difference that we've got over the last 6 months. I still have about 14, I have 24 properties that I'm tracking. 14 of them have liens on them now that we can decide and discuss on whether or not we want to move those into the next stage, which would be foreclosure. But we have a year to make that decision. HOA liens are good for 12 months. So you don't have to do anything right this second, but they're all teed up and ready to go if we decide to pull the trigger on that. And then I've got 5 new properties that are going to be getting demands letter from me this month because they just crossed that threshold. And then I've got 5 other properties that I made a couple of notes on that we need to get something fixed and re-notice them. So that's where we're at with that.
All right, you guys got any comments on that?
If you guys are interested in the specifics, I got it written down so you can look at those.
So you say we have 14 properties that are ready for foreclosure lien?
I got 14 properties. I got 10 that have a lien on right now. It's already been filed. I just had to sign 4 more. So there'll be 14 total. And so the process would look like, if we decide to move those forward, I'd have to send them a notice of intent to foreclose. They get 45 days to get their account caught up, and then anytime after the expiration of that 45 days, we could file a lawsuit to foreclose on it up to a year.
So the 4 that we starting today, those have some time frame before they'll be at the same level, right?
No, as soon as I file those in the public records, we can send an intent to foreclose on them.
So guys got any comments on that?
No.
You guys want to move forward or?
Like I said, it's not something you have to do right this second. I mean, we've got some time, but it's totally up to you.
So those have been any update on it? Like anyone has tried to reach an agreement or
No,
any
no.
attempt to pay?
For the last 3, so I pulled a report at the end of July, and I pulled another one that was good through yesterday, you guys informed me. And the balances are identical, which means we haven't gotten any payments on any of them for at least 3 weeks.
Okay, so if that's the case, then we should then move forward.
All right, now keep in mind, if we pull the trigger on litigation on this, we're no longer part of the flat fee.
I understand.
We're moving into an hourly rate on these, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Don't be surprised to get just
They
warning.
threatening us?
No, I'm informing you and preparing you.
Probably we could have saying that. So I have a question. How does this work? The foreclosure, the past due payment? I just want to understand.
Can we save that for the end? Because we have to keep going through the meeting.
Yeah, that's
But
a good question.
he'll be available.
Let's hang on to that and I'll.
He'll be available. We can ask the questions later on, okay? All right, so you guys want to wait till next meeting or what?
I think we should wait until next meeting, maybe have a discussion about exactly what we want to do on it.
Okay, so we're going to table those then. All right. And the CCRs, Chris, we're going to schedule
Tuesday, right?
every Tuesday. We're going to start doing this?
Tuesday's good with me.
I'm about
Every Tuesday or once-
but
once a month?
I have
Once a month?
I have
Once a
this
month?
Tuesday open. Yeah.
All right.
if you guys want
We're trying to be proactive with setting a date because it's hard to get everybody in the room at the same time. So if we got the dates ahead of time, hopefully we can move forward on this.
Do you want me to put it on the calendar for the 29th? We can.
I can do this, I can do this.
I'm good with the 29th, yeah, I'm good with the 29th.
I think we should do, we should do at least once a month just to make sure we get that. If we can do extra Tuesday, then we're good, because I know, a lot of people work, because, they don't have the time. So at least if we schedule one day, we can accomplish, a lot.
Okay.
If we put our minds.
When do you want to do it? 6,
So-
7?
But I don't know, it depends. Corey, what is the best
I'm
for
gonna
you?
go, I have commitments, but don't let me hold it up.
Okay.
We don't all need
I
to
think 7 is probably a better time, because I definitely know I can always make it at 7 on a Tuesday.
Okay, I'm good at 7 as well.
So 8/29 at 7 PM, right?
Okay, so what's the name?
We're gonna meet
Yeah,
here.
7 PM?
Yeah, and as long as we can get 3 of the board members on it, that's fine, because I think that it's better to do it in shifts. Because if you do 3 and then shift to the other 3, it gives fresh eyes on what's going on.
That's
That's a
true.
great idea.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and just for the record, we're not going to have a quorum of the board there, so we don't need a notice.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Our treasurer is not here today, but I'm gonna quickly just give a quick overview. Basically, our beginning balance this month in our operating account was 212,491. We collected a total of 109,175, and we ended with a balance of 220,367.91 for a net change of positive 787,663. Total cash on hand right now with all reserves and everything is $885,000. I think that's it for that. Secretary?
Yeah, I've 3 things that I usually report out on. First one is any property changes. I have not been notified of any property movements in the last month. The next one I usually do is any records given to management. Last meeting, we signed the minutes and the back over to management the same night. And then a record search with front steps. Everything seems to be there to it. I do want to talk a little bit about how we name them. I was a little confused. I know some of the nuances. Yeah. So I think maybe we can kind of touch base, you and I, and work on like an organizational, like how we call them, to a layman person. So when they're looking for stuff, it's easier for them to find. But we can next time on that.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you, sir. That's it for me.
All right, thank you. Committee reports, Architectural Review Committee.
There's no change on the architecture. I think Mark is going to start taking care of that because he's now chairing the committee. So as changes happen, obviously every board meeting you're going to want to.
I'll be the one here to tell you. I was going to say that we are working on clarifying and getting some really good documentation so that not only we have the documentation, but that going forward, this documentation for the people that come after us.
Okay. Thank you very much for doing that, guys. Compliance Committee, any, that's you again?
This is getting bad. The compliance committee did not have a meeting this past 15th August. There was nothing to do.
Okay.
That's
So,
a good
and
thing.
DeWitt, I know you're new, so anything on the third letter, you gotta get with Mark and the Compliance Committee. Make sure you guys schedule, let them know what cases are gonna be scheduled for hearing and stuff.
Schedule meeting every month for I think the next 6 months. So there's been scheduled meetings set out.
And the thing is that the same, it's the Tuesday on the.
You guys are doing the third, right? Third Tuesday?
Third Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday for the ARC.
Yeah, ARC's fourth Tuesday, third Tuesday.
Yeah.
for the-
And ARC meets here and Compliance meets at Artemis headquarters.
in their conference.
Great. Go ahead and reach out to you with that information and some of the next day.
If you got any questions, call,
We'll get there.
contact me, email.
What about them?
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Can I please get your contact
I said that
information?
if you can get with him to get your contact information, I can.
So all the committees have a email group. You can get in touch with them through there. Compliance Committee, Architecture Committee, Finance Committee, they all have a email. And usually it's the same thing. It's like compliance@communitysolarhq.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've emailed you a few times already, so.
Yeah, you've already done it.
Yeah.
I'll give you my phone number and everything too, so you'll be completely set.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Financial committee, new committee, and I apologize because Dewitt is new and he didn't know, and he sent the financials to the board and it was all mixed in one email and we didn't even know we had it until now. So I just forwarded it to you guys, so you guys should have it and, let me know. None of you had any chance to look at anything, I imagine. Yeah. So, next meeting, maybe we could just talk about both funds financials in the whole.
And then any question that you might have, with financial, you can, ask them and then they can get you whatever you need, whatever you see on the financial, that's what the committee is for. You see something, tell them and they can help you find the right answer.
His contact information, he wants mine.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get the finance committee members access to strong room to look at bills, just for viewing.
You guys got it yet? Yeah? Yeah. They got
Okay,
it.
you have it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure.
And so just a clarification, when we send out the manager's report with the financials, you want us to send it to the homeowners association board and the finance committee as well? Two different groups.
Okay.
So the manager's report.
Thank you.
Don't forget me.
And Chris.
And Chris.
That's right.
All right, and
I'm still here.
gotcha. Put you right there, gotcha.
You're sitting there, we're not used to seeing you there. All right, thank you. And thank you for volunteering, guys, appreciate it.
And
Lance,
also anyone that want to volunteer, you got the chance also to do,
all
whatever
the
you-
committees have spots, so pick your poison.
Maybe that's not the best way to describe that.
No, really, in all seriousness, the more people participate, the better things are gonna get, the more ideas we're gonna have, and the better the community will be, in the long run, okay? I know not everybody has time, but you don't have to volunteer to be there every day the committee meets, but if you could be there most days, or at least contribute, even as a non-member, that would be appreciated. We're moving on to landscaping committee. You wanna talk about this, or?
Yeah, so, we received, a few complaints and those complaints goes from the website to the landscaping company. So sometimes people think that they're gonna be resolved same day or next day. Usually they have some timing, depends if it's a broken pipe or, something emergency, they're gonna do it right away. But if it's something that can wait, obviously you're gonna receive an email or a phone call, or they're gonna go to your house. Also, we receive a lot of complaints about the hedges and stuff like that. So those things, remember, they do it once a month by zone. So if you look at the map, you got day 1, that's week 1. Day 2, that's week 2, and so on, and then you need to wait the whole cycle again. Some people think that they have to do it every single week, and it's not. In the contract, it's only once a month. They already defertilized, they did some weed control on the beds. So, but anything that you have, any complaint, go to the website, bsohoa.com. On the help area, click landscaping work order, send it, that's the best way so we can make the vendor accountable. If we got a writing, we can make it accountable. If we don't have nothing, just on the air, then we don't have any proof that something bad is happening. And we want to make them accountable we pay for service, so.
And social media is not official HOA communication, so if you go on there and complain and say, that's not gonna have any effect on the vendor or what we do about your situation. So everybody knows the website is the place to go. Work orders, once you log in, you'll have a help section. The work orders are all there. You submit them. It stays there. It lets us know, it lets us, the board, know that you were there on this day, you submitted that work order. It will send it to management and it will send it to the vendor, and everyone's aware of the situation, and someone should get in touch with you within a reasonable amount of time to tell you how long it's going to take to resolve it. I had a lot of issues with with the landscaper in terms of not cutting our trees properly. They're supposed to cut them at least 12 feet up, and I've had, give me 1 second, sir. And I had I walk my dogs every day all over the community. So, walking into these trees is not fun every morning, especially at 5 in the morning when I'm walking. So, we had it out, and I believe he's cut most of them at this point, but there's still some that need to be cut. If you live near one of these trees that are hanging really low, try not to park in front of them so that if they come by to do them, they can do them. Sometimes they get afraid because there's cars in front and they don't want to have any liability with vehicles. What were you gonna say, sir? Quick.
The landscaping needs every 2 weeks.
Every week, so certain seasons, certain seasons every week. Right now, we're every week. We just started every week. And when it's not raining, then it's every 2 weeks. It's 4 months, right, that they do every 2 weeks. So 4 months, they do every 2 weeks, and then during the summers, every week.
They cut, and the trimming is once a month.
If you go to the website, there's a map there that has colors, and it tells you what day they cut which side.
And to clarify, that's only for the bushes that are in the front of the homes.
Correct.
Maybe the landscaping we have to see recent, but I think that it's worship. If you're doing every 2 weeks, no weekly.
Yeah, but it's only every two. Oh, you're saying to do it every 2 weeks? You think we're cutting too often?
We do every 2 weeks, yeah.
It's a big save money.
We could talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't know if everybody will agree with that. You know, we've been doing it this way for so many years. I would hate to change it. And to be honest with you, I don't think the landscaper is going to give us a break on that.
I think that because, everything is going on.
Oh, correct.
We're going to try to keep, the most.
Correct, cost effective.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. For the homes, no. They're doing inspections. So right now they're doing inspections every month. They're supposed to be doing inspections every month on everything. But, and they give us a report of their inspection, but we only repair the townhomes. The townhomes are covered 100%, but the homes, it's just the inspection. If you look on the website, it should be the report. You can look up your house. It tells you what they found. Excuse me?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, they're landscaper.
Yeah. So they
About the
inspect
inspection. I thought you
only.
said if they repair the.
Oh,
Okay, but they just inspect them, they don't repair them.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear, because some people have called and think that it's included and it's not. Okay, moving on, safety committee.
So on the safety committee, I know I started like almost 2 years ago doing my rounds of using my own cars, but I applied for the sheriff's department as well as another neighbor, Luis Corrado, that is on the safety committee, and as well as Mario Cordova, to have the community vehicle, community service. So right now we are ahead. Maybe I hope next month we're gonna get the final approval, and then the training, and then we can have a car going around as, it's gonna at least save money because we're gonna be doing the work, for free, but it's gonna look professional. We're gonna have the uniform, the vehicles, and we cannot have any contact with anyone. It's only observe and report. So that's what we can be doing, and more to come. Do you have anything else to say? I don't know if you see anything.
I'm done with the application. It's in my fingerprints. I had the interview, the lie detector test, and drug test. Just waiting for the classes.
And do you see anything on the community that we need to be aware? I don't know if you saw anything. So far, I've been, the drive that I've been doing so far, everything looking, calm. The only thing is some speeders, always in this community. Everybody needs to slow down. We got kids around, so pretty much that's it.
And all homeowners and residents have the responsibility to observe and report.
Correct.
If all of us do it, we'll be safer. That's the bottom line. And this program that Herman just mentioned about the community service vehicle, that's open to anybody that lives here that wants to volunteer. You just got to go through the sheriff's department to get approval. And the more volunteers we have, the more hours we're going to get with the car, because that car is going to be shared right now among 3 communities if we're not signing up for those shifts. So the more people do it, the better it is. So I believe you guys have radios, right?
Yeah.
He knows more.
We came to direct contact with the deputies that are on patrol. If we see any instances, we just report over to them, and they should be here hopefully in minutes after before.
But also, any homeowner that reports anything, you can report it anonymously, or, you say your name and report it to the police department using 911 if it's an emergency or the non-emergency, and they should come and verify if we are not here.
All right, we're moving right along. Social committee, that's my baby.
Was barbecue, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had our first Via Sol Day barbecue last month. It was great. We had a lot of people participate. A couple of the community vendors came over and kind of shared some information regarding medical clinic down the street and some landscapers and different people. So it was nice, and and thank you for Jason Simmons, our head chef there, who did an excellent job cooking everything in a timely fashion. Everybody was able to eat.
Corey did all the hard work anyway.
Thank you, Corey, as well. So right now we have three events we're thinking about. We're thinking about a Halloween event. If anybody has any ideas, Halloween's kind of on a Tuesday, but we're going to try to do something for the kids. We did it last year, kind of on the fly. We did the trunk or treat, and it was actually a success. There was a lot of kids here, and not only the kids, but all of our residents that are adults really enjoy giving candy out. So we did get a lot of people out for that. So we're planning to do that in October. In November, we're planning to have our second garage sale. Probably is going to be, I'm thinking, the first weekend in November to try to avoid any holidays. It'll be a little cooler then, and then we'll try to plan something for Christmas, which we haven't gotten that far yet. But we're open for suggestions. Please reach out. You know, the email's there, and you know, we just want people to get together and get to know each other and understand what we're all about. Thank you. All right, construction defect lawsuit. So we know that they started the inspections. That we had a couple of contractors, I guess, come out. They cut some concrete, some stucco segments of different townhomes to send them to, I guess, an engineering lab to study them, and they made the repairs. They also inspected the roofs, if I'm not wrong on that.
Yes.
Because I know some of them were left open, and now I think they closed them all, right? So we're just waiting for them to have the report ready. Keep an eye out for that, especially if you're a townhome owner. The law firm is going to have a town hall workshop, primarily for the townhome owners, but anybody can attend, where they're going to provide sort of a big scope of what they found, what they think, and you know, we're going to need 75% of the entire community to support the townhomes on this in order for them to be able to move forward with the lawsuit. The good thing about this lawsuit, it's like Morgan & Morgan. We don't pay anything unless we win. So the law firm is incurring a lot of these expenses. We're not doing anything, and that's good. And I think the townhomes have a lot of problems. It'd be nice for them to be able to get through this process and hopefully get their townhomes in order so that they can get insurance that they deserve and get all the things that they need. And we can stop having all these roof leaks that come up every year. All right. And then the repairs, I think DeWitt already kind of said, the handyman. What happened with the soffit repairs on the second floors? Do we have somebody doing those yet, or?
Yeah, so I&E confirmed that they will be coming out to complete the soffit repairs. Well, first and foremost, there were two that were completed by Ping, and the other two, which is the 3146 via Palm, that one with the raccoon report. They're going to be out here next week to take a look at it. You know,
Yeah, there's one on Rio 12. I forgot the address. The one that I guess a tree must have grown into the gutter at one point.
Yeah,
And
so they'll be out.
it's like a waterfall when it rains. It lands on the planter in front of it. So.
And I know we received another complaint from Via Palma, 3150, I think it is, that some animals on the.
Yeah, that's the one he was talking about with the raccoons.
50, yeah, but that's the 46.
Oh, there's another one too?
3150. I think we received that on the townhouse
Did they put
work order.
They did?
Yeah, I saw that.
So let's talk about that for a second. So the work orders that are coming through, what is Artemis doing with those?
Whenever I receive any type of complaint about anything that's going on with the soffit, specifically because this is an open project, I just directly contact I&E in order for us to get like an update on it.
Mhm.
And then I'll just try to work on it every single week, get them to give us updates on it. But they told me that they'll be out on the property tomorrow to handle those, so.
Okay, because
On Monday.
I want to change things a little bit if we can. There has to be a way to show the progress of the work order. I think right now people are submitting it and things are getting fixed behind the scenes, and then no one really gets back to the owner that it's done, or we don't have documentation that it's been done.
Okay.
So I think our process should involve, does Front Steps have a way of documenting that in there?
We have a front, excuse me, if somebody submits a work order to Village Soul, it doesn't talk to our current fund steps or caliber, however, we can put it in on our end, enter it in when we see it, put the information in, and next week we go get an update for it, we put in the update. So it's like literally whenever we put anything, it'll date and time stamp it of the progress. If there's any pictures, we can put pictures in it. If it's completed, we can close it out and then we can call the homeowner and say, hey, just to let you know, IE was out yesterday, they completed the work order, it's good to go. If you have any other questions, reach back out to us and we'll move forward.
Okay, but, so they need to submit it through Front Step or still
No,
we
we
can?
just submit it through Village Soul
When
because
they
it's
get
going
it,
to.
all
Okay, so you gotta manually
So
include.
that way, we don't want them jumping from place to place.
Awesome.
Our goal is to not make it as difficult as possible. So we
Thank
don't want to
you.
change everything.
Yeah.
If they're already doing it that way, Julie will receive it, put it in our system. Reason being, if we ever have to do a report, you can just print.
Thank you.
Print states.
I like that process.
And it's going to be way easier for us and for the homeowners. We don't want to confuse them.
That's great. Thank you so much. So where are we with the 3 stucco repairs, the big stucco repairs that were approved that I ain't supposed to be working on? 3101.
All right, yeah, so they will also, they said that they inspected the units this week and those will be completed this week. All repairs as in regards to stucco and soffit will be addressed this week, this upcoming week, starting Monday.
Gotcha.
They're gonna be installing scaffolding on Monday and then they're gonna be, doing the repairs during the week.
And what's the process when they're done with the repairs? Who verifies the repair has been done prior to them getting paid?
So I already requested for them to give us pictures so that I can have a before and after picture, and I can provide that with my manager report so that you guys can know what repairs have been done.
You can let me know when you get notification of the project's being done, because I live here, I could just walk up and take a look at it. Yeah.
FYI, since these are pertaining to townhomes, so yes, we do
Yeah.
receive it. I think it's very important that you guys as board members, this is such a hefty project and, a lot of money. You guys can do a walkthrough and then we say, okay, let's go. We'll
Gotcha.
move
Sounds
forward.
good, yeah.
Okay.
So send that through the HOA email, HOA board email, so this way whoever's available will head out there and take a look.
Even then, and then it would be also a good thing to walk with them as well. Because
Yeah.
if you see anything, you
Yeah.
can let them know and then they have time to fix it, repair it, schedule it, whatever it may be.
Sounds good. The handyman repairs, you kind of already gave an update on that, so we're good. Any other questions on that? No?
Would you want to confirm a date for that, so that he can come out every month as he requested to handle the work orders?
Mm-hmm. Did he provide a date or?
He said that he can do the 15th through the 18th every month. He'll be
Okay.
here. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, whatever, even if it's range.
Any of those
Okay,
days?
yeah,
Between
any of
the
those
15th and
days?
18th of each month?
So basically, he'll pick what day he comes, but he has to come within those 3 days.
Okay.
So this way we can have some resolution by the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll deal with weather too.
Yeah, correct.
Exactly. If it's raining one day, he can come the next day, so to speak. Yeah, good idea. All right. So now we have proposals on the table here for reserve study. As we have mentioned on previous meetings, Sangria and Menorca belong to the HOA, the streets, and we're responsible for maintaining them at this point. Anyway, let's look at the reserve studies. I'll share my reservations later, but how many reserve study proposals we have here?
3.
So we got Reserve Study Institute at $1,150. We have Reserve Advisors,
Yeah, like 2,500 something.
2,500,
And the last one is 16.
550, and Sedgwick is 1680.
1,680. So, I mean, out of all these companies, the only one I know is Reserve Advisor because we used them for, the townhomes before. Anybody have any experience with the other two? No?
I've dealt with reserve advisors most of the time. I have not dealt with Sedgwick, or Reserve Study Institute. So I can't speak on behalf of the other ones. I typically use reserve advisors. I'm not going to recommend anything. All the information is there for you guys to use. It's up to your discretion at the end of the day. But they pretty much all do this.
Understood. Guys, any questions? Any comments?
Well, what I see here, I don't know. The only service we're getting is they're supposed to just look at what it is, what is the status, and give us a report.
Well, the report involves more than that. I
No,
mean,
correct, no, but
They
what I'm
have to
saying,
tell us how many years of
Correct.
life it has left, how much maintenance is gonna be involved, when they're gonna need to be replaced, so it's a pretty
Are
big.
they pulling cores at all on the roads?
I don't
or-
think so. We have.
So it's gonna be a visual study? It's just gonna be the.
I believe so.
It's a visual study, however, what they do is they look at how much everything is market value at this moment.
Yeah,
At
so
this
the
moment.
reserves.
Yeah, and then they give us a number
But is it gonna
pertaining
be,
to how.
you know, is it gonna be an in-depth or is it gonna just be a visual study? Because a visual study, you just go for whatever the lowest price is, it doesn't really matter at that particular point in time. If they're gonna do cores, like if we were gonna get something from one of the other vendors, it would be different. But if they're all doing a visual, there's no need to spend any more money at all.
that's what I was saying about the go to with the lowest, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So that was reserved, the
Reserve Institute,
Reserve Institute was 1,100.
Yeah,
so is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to use Reserve Institute at $1,150 for the reserve study for the roads on Sangria and Menorca.
I second the motion.
Seconded by Herman, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Scott's still there? He went off, okay. All righty. All right, the next item is declaring Sangria Norca and applying for road costs. This was had to do with, so this is the biggest headache for the HOA, second to the townhome. So the fact that they sold that property to a different developer, the developer opted to keep the roads HOA, that creates a problem because we were never set up to take care of streets. We don't have that budget, and now I'm pretty sure that this, reserve study is gonna be pretty impressive in terms of how much money is gonna need it. So we have several questions we need to clarify, legal questions, financial questions. The first one is, if the HOA is responsible for those streets, who pays? Is it the Sangria Menorca people? Because they're the ones that, you know, brought this about? Or is it the entire membership that pays for them? Or is it, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that, because I know I don't live in that area, and my personal opinion, I wouldn't want to pay for the streets because I don't use them at all. But, you know, I don't know what the legal issue is with that.
You can make it so that just the folks on the street pay for that because they're the only ones that are using it.
And how, what's the process for that?
Well, one would be to start to figure out what the current condition of the road is and then plan ahead for what you'd have to have in a reserve account to cover repairs and stuff for that. And then you do the documents call it a special services assessment to basically fund a specific reserve account just for that repair cost.
And then just the board just create it and do a motion and approve it and done?
Yeah.
And how you, and the board just, you know.
You just put it on the budget, it's a separate line item, and it's earmarked specifically for that project. And the money that's put into that pool account cannot be used for anything else except for that project.
Okay.
Right? And by doing that, you can make it so that you basically do it's not really a special assessment, it's called something else, excuse me, in the documents, but it's essentially the same thing. It's a special assessment that's limited to just those folks because they're receiving a benefit that nobody else is receiving, which is they have private streets. So figuring out what the dollar number is, you know, if the road's got 50% of its useful life left and it's going to cost $150,000 to repair it, then you know you've got 10, 12 years, whatever it is, to save up X number of dollars, and you can start budgeting for that and adding it to the assessment over the next however many years is left on the life of the road.
That doesn't go to the county?
No, not this, because the county doesn't own this land, the association owns it. It's, all the other streets were dedicated to the CED. And so you guys do the same thing. The only difference is you pay your property taxes every year instead of paying it through the association. So it's not like anybody in this room is not paying for their streets. You're just doing it through the CDD instead of through the association. These folks would just be paying it through the association instead of CDD. So it's, I mean, the net result is the same. You're all still paying for your roads. It's just who manages taking care of that repair.
So what is the process of, if we wanted to dedicate those roads to the CDD to stop so much confusion? Because,
Well, assuming they're willing to take the road.
so they have to be willing to accept it.
Yeah, you can't just give somebody property because they can be like, no, I'm not taking that. So you would have to work that out ahead of time with the board of the CDD, and I imagine that would probably be a pretty involved logistical lift with CDD legal and the management company for the CDD. But assuming you guys could work a deal, it would just be deeding them the property. There may be an approval process on our end too, because it's technically a common element. So we might need to get a vote of the membership in order to make that transfer.
But that would be a vote of the people living on those streets, right? Not the whole community, right?
Not necessarily, because if it's deemed as a common element, the way it's written in here is any transfer of a common element would require a vote of membership.
So how do we know how they set that up?
No, but now, if you mention common element, right, to do a vote, then that means common element, then everybody has to pay for it.
Yeah, but my point is the paragraph that talks about transferring common elements doesn't distinguish between those common elements that are only used by a select piece of the membership versus used by everybody. It just says anytime you're going to get rid of a common element, you have to take it to a vote.
Gotcha.
Right? It'd be nice if it made that differentiation so that we could be like, oh, well, I only have to get approval from the folks on the street instead of doing the whole kick and boot. But it's possible to do it, yes, but it would be a logistical lift to get it there.
Can we find out from the CDD, like, what they're willing to do for that and see if we could put it all under one umbrella? So this way, when we have the numbers of this, that would probably be a negotiation token to say, well, we did the reserve study, this is how much it's gonna cost, and maybe we can come in an agreement on that.
And even if we had to cut them a check as like a capital contribution to get them to take it so that we don't have to worry about it. Like I said, the net result for the folks who live in the neighborhood is the same. They're gonna pay for it no matter what happens. Difference is it would probably be more cost effective to have the CDD manage it, because when they call out Public Works or whoever it is that's going to repair the road, they're going to get a much better deal by doing the whole project instead of doing one tiny little piece of road.
Okay, let's find out the logistics on that then.
Is there anything the CD may ask us in terms of preparing that property, like, oh, we want to see the condition?
Possible. Remember, the CDD is under no obligation to take it in the first place, so they really get the power on this one.
So let's say they didn't take it, what process then we have to do to start putting this?
If they didn't take it, like words to it, yeah, so the reserve study would be your first step, because now you know what the useful life of the road is. From there, you can kind of start taking back steps to figure out, okay, in 15 years, I know I'm gonna have to spend X number of dollars to repave the road. From that point to this point, how much do I need to collect from my homeowners to be able to cover that expense? And then you kind of back your way into doing a budget for those years.
Okay. So the other question is common element. Are single family home mailboxes considered a common element? Because we have pretty bad looking mailboxes and
You're talking about like individual, because you said some of your mailboxes are communal, right?
Yeah, some of them are double, yeah, some of them.
No, communal, you got the communal ones and you got.
Well, the communal ones are Sangria and Menorca only, they have the kiosk, but everybody else has either one or two.
For the homes that have like regular style mailboxes or even like dual mailboxes, those are not common elements. You could argue that the communal ones though are.
Yeah, but those already have a reserve to replace.
Yeah, if you've already got a reserve account set up for that, that would be an appropriate fund to pull from to maintain.
But can we put something for the single family only for those?
Yeah.
That's where
For the
251,
for the two.
No, that's fine. It's just, even though it's not a common element, you could still set aside HOA money to like subsidize the replacement of mailboxes. In fact, we did it in our neighborhood about 3 years ago, where the HOA was like, hey, we're gonna go out and hire a vendor to replace all the mailboxes so they stay uniform. we're gonna pay the first $100 of it, and then everybody else is gonna kick in for the difference. So it cost me like $80 to replace my mailbox, when it normally would have cost like $200 something, because we got a pretty nice discount for doing the whole neighborhood.
But it can be done just to those selected houses, that's the question, not to the whole membership, just to those houses, because remember, we got the townhouses.
That's a thing that we have that nobody else has the use of,
Correct.
so yes, absolutely, that should be, you should be able
But
to do.
you wanna do just like a half a dozen or a dozen of them?
No, just the
No.
200 and something houses that are
Yeah.
with those
Because
types
they're
of
all
numbers,
failing.
but
They're all
those,
failing.
just those houses will be charged,
Yeah,
or,
Yeah.
you know.
so, yeah, because you could, well, we
Tomorrow
already did
itself.
our special assessment for this year. You might have to push that to next year, because we already did a special assessment this year.
Okay.
So, in the theory, right, in the same logic of the roads and the benefiting from the roads and paying for future maintenance of those roads, the same kind of applies for earmarking money and applying it to those houses that will benefit from that, so it's.
You're talking about
something
doing a
we can-
reserve.
We can pull and
Yeah, so the
tie directly back to the beneficiary.
The difference with Menorca and Sangria, though, is that that's already been designated as a special service district by the developer. And in order to be able to do that type of like special district fund, the board doesn't have the authority to set that up on our own. We have to go to the residents, get them to ask for it, and then we can do that. That's what the documents say we have to do. So that's, we have to get a certain percentage for them to sign on to that.
So there's already been pre-work done.
I believe it's 100%.
It could be.
Yeah, the developer could do it with less, but
The developer could just do it on his own. He had the authority to do that, but in order for us to set one up as the board, we have to go to the residents to get them to ask for it.
But it doesn't prevent this necessarily for,
All right.
from.
we need to figure out what options we have with that and, you know, see
We
what.
could do the same thing we did on carriage lights for one of the neighborhoods that we worked on the board for. In that you can offer like 3 options for what you can use for the mailboxes, and it would just fall on the individual homeowners, and you give them X amount of time to replace them, because they're almost all failing, the mailboxes.
Yeah, right.
So at this point, they all need to be replaced. Mine as well as everyone else's. I mean, we've got like the aluminum poles with just the standard mailbox on it, and it looks, I mean, it's there.
But yeah, but we were talking more on the sense of creating a reserve just for those houses, for those mailboxes. Can we do it or not? That's the question. Like if we can do a reserve for those type of.
You can use HOA funds to make that repair, but you cannot set up a special taxing district unless the residents ask you to. So in other words, if you would say next budget year, we're gonna pull out $5,000 out of our operating account and we're gonna pay for this upgrade.
Yes.
You could do that,
Okay.
right? But if you're trying to say, but I'm gonna send a bill to just those 15, 20, or even 100 residents and nobody else, the docs require us to set up that special servicing district in order to be able to, because otherwise we're not apportioning the assessment equally amongst all the members.
Gotcha.
Are we allowed to set up maybe like a reserve for single family homes only and utilize them for those different situations? Like we need to repair the road in Sangria, then we'll use those funds. If we need to replace mailboxes, we can use those funds for mailboxes too.
If the homeowners allow you to set up that special district, then yes, you could take money just from those houses and set it aside for a service that they're getting that nobody else is. So the problem is we don't have the authority to just set it up on our own initiative. We need the residents to authorize us to do that.
Okay.
Totally.
All right, then we'll move on to the next item, towing on Sangria and Menorca. So as you guys may be aware, there's been a lot of activity with regards to cars being towed around the community. Menorca and Sangria are exempt from being towed because the ones that are towing is the CDD, not the HOA. So it has been brought up that, you know, something should be done in Sangria for various reasons. One is that to make it fair for everybody. 2 is that there's a lot of parking issues on Sangria and Menorca that obstructs the road from from emergency vehicles, people are parking trailers, recreational vehicles there that are against our rules. So with that in mind, we decided that we're gonna consider extending the towing services to that area, but the HOA has to approve that because the city doesn't have jurisdiction. So any comments on that?
I think it's a good idea, but we did find two things on this contract that need to be gone over. I don't know if it's worth discussing here, if it's something we can discuss after the fact, because it would take up way too much time, but it's, they have one line in here that specifically requires an HOA member or someone of authority to call the tow truck company instead of them just actively patrolling like they do with the CDD side. And then the other is actually on line 10. It's transferring all liability to us.
No, correct, that for the reason.
Yeah, so I
We
mean,
need
I
to
think
do a
that Chris
contract.
needs
That
to do a
contract, yeah.
full,
Well,
for a full
yeah.
workup on it.
What I would do is I just tell them to strike the paragraph.
Yeah.
Just tell them to strike the
And
paragraph.
also with management, because that's something that I don't think the board will agree that we should be calling the towing. You know, it has to be somebody away from,
Roaming towing you wanted to do? Is that what they?
Roaming,
correct.
Roaming towing is what they
but let's say, for example, like, I don't know, someone send you a picture, you know, and then you, or, you know, then you make the decision, that's legal, no, and then you check the rule, then you call the towing company, you know, instead of being the board.
The only issue with that is you guys are not gonna be able to do that 24/7.
Correct. No, no, it's
Or
not.
actually, it's a board member or a committee, safety committee, who's on the safety?
Yeah. So
Well,
can-
it's literally typically the board, because you guys mostly are here, you guys are the representative, and you guys have to sign our offers.
So,
Well, they're doing it for the CDD though. There's no
so
reason
can
why
you,
they couldn't do it.
can you
for us.
reach out to Preston's Towing, Tolando, and find out what the option is with that? Tell them that nobody wants to be responsible for calling them. And we prefer that they just come and do their own inspections and tow whoever's in violation of the rules that they'll be handed by the board. Because, yeah, it gets too sticky.
Then see if you can push them to take out paragraph 10. I mean, I don't know if they'll go for that or not.
And also, you know, I'd like to implement at least maybe a one-time warning for infractions that are not like safety issues, you know? So if someone's facing the wrong way or something, you know, give them the first time a pass, and they know that the next time they do it, they'll be towed. So this way, people have an opportunity to understand. But if they're blocking a sidewalk, or they're blocking somebody's driveway, that's a different story, or you know, they're blocking the street itself, then you don't need a warning for that. Okay? So we're gonna table this and get more information, and then we'll move on then. All right, so it's that time of the year. We're planning for our annual meeting. It's gonna be September 21st, right? That was the date? So September 21st will be our annual meeting. I believe that people should have started receiving the packages with all the notices. It looks big like that. There you have budgets, proposed budgets, nothing approved yet. Remember, these numbers are not approved. We're working on them, but we want to discuss them to make sure that we're all on the same page with regards to this. And there's also the notice for the election. We have one seat up for election. It's going to be Scott's seat. He'll be up for election this year. So if anybody's interested in joining the board, that was the time to do that. And I beg that all the homeowners consider voting for whoever they want. We need a quorum. At least 145 people need to vote. I think it's 149 now, right?
146.
146 have to vote in order for us to have an election. There's never been a real election in this community, so I'm counting on all of y'all to vote the next board member in.
Then you're gonna receive that notice, so you can put your name if you wanna be a candidate, fill out the bottom. If you have more information, then put another paper on the back and give it to management so they can verify that you are eligible to be a candidate, and do it on time.
Also, if you're not running and you want to help management out with the election and the vote counting and all that, just reach out to her or him, I'm sorry. And let her know that you're interested so that, you know, we can at least have set people that we know are going to be involved, okay? That's all I did. Excuse me?
What is the due date for having,
For the candidate submission?
You said the 31st, however, we have more time,
Okay.
just FYI, we can probably push it to the 25th, I think.
Yeah, we can push it back to 25th, or even starting on the 21st.
Because our meeting for the annual election is gonna be October 19th.
Oh, October
So if
19th.
you guys want to have a candidates,
Mhm.
so depending on when you want to have the meet the candidates, that's what I need those.
I prefer to have the candidates 30 days before the actual election so that we have those 30 days to do all the events that we would like to do.
The 21st.
Okay? So,
October.
so September 21st is the deadline for candidate submission. That's what we're saying, right?
Yep.
Yes,
I thought we were gonna have the elections and the annual meeting on September 21st.
We were, but two things happened. One is that would put us under the gun to do all these things. We would have had less than 30 days to send out everything, so,
Are you trying to do your budget meeting on October 3rd?
no.
no,
Budget meetings next.
September
next
21st.
HOA meeting.
Okay, so we split
separated
it.
it.
Correct.
Yes.
So the annual meeting, I misspoke earlier, the annual meeting is October 19th. Yeah,
Special assessment and budget meeting is September 21st,
Yep.
which is next month, and then the annual meeting is separated that by itself, so it's October 19th. If you guys are interested in being a candidate, submit it to do it, his email is on the bottom of that, before the 21st of September. We're also gonna have the voting online, which is available, we're gonna open that up by the 21st.
Yep.
So that way we can have more participants, and we can have quorum this year.
October 19th is the voting for the next candidate. There's gonna be one seat for the board.
A board member.
So,
I know that also not in that packet was
Assessment.
the cable thing, so you don't have to vote again.
No.
if you already voted for the cable, you don't have to vote unless you're changing your vote. If you're changing your vote, then you can vote again.
By proxy or in person?
By proxy or in person, not electronically anymore. Your electronic vote is sealed until, the election. Excuse me? September 21st. Yeah. That's when we will approve the budget. Okay? All right, and the resolution for the total, we're gonna hold off on that too till we figure this out.
Yeah, I
Right.
think so, right here.
All right. So, yeah, I kind of.
Yep.
All right, we're down to the meat of why everybody's here today. Let's talk money. So, as most of you that have participated from the very beginning understand, we've had several meetings, several presentations about our cable company. Our cable company is extorting us of money for the past, 12 years they've been here already? 10 years, 12 years?
That's a figurative term, not a literal one.
Correct, figurative term. And it's getting worse every year. I know when I moved here in 2013, I think we were paying less than $300,000 a year. Now we're paying to the tune of $547,000, which is almost double. And we have 5 more years on the contract, and due to the fact that they were sued by the HOA before, we anticipate that they're gonna raise us the maximum 6% every year, which will put us at $590 for next year. And this is eating up more than 52% of our budget. So it's a very big problem that we have inherited, and I'm trying to get ourselves out of it. So just to recap, I hate to rehash it, but when we took over the HOA board, the lawsuit was in place. Attorneys got together. They tried to decide what was the best option for the community and for the funds that we needed to spend. They estimated that litigation against the cable company can go on and on and on. They said for as many years as it took with motions, and that will put us under to the tune of 150 or 200,000 or more. And there was no guarantee whether we were going to win that lawsuit or not. So with that in mind, in November, we met with the cable company. We tried to negotiate ourselves out of the contract because when we decided to dismiss the case, they wanted $80,000 in legal fees from us. So they said, we'll dismiss the case, but you got to give us 80 grand. And I was like, I'm not just going to give them 80 grand just for the hell of it. We used that opportunity to negotiate. I started the negotiation at 290,000 to buy their contract. We went back and forth for about 4 hours, and the end result that they agreed to was $475,000. They're making about 150 to 190,000 a year out of us. So basically, we're paying them 2.5 years to give us the 5-year contract. So we're still saving half the money. And we got rid of the litigation. We didn't spend the $80,000. So I think, and I think the board has agreed, and a lot of homeowners have agreed, that this is a win-win-win in a lot of different ways. The cable company wins, we win, and, we get a discount. We don't. Why would we lose?
Because I just don't understand how long is this set up the account, contract? 10 years or?
More than that. So I don't know the specifics.
They renew it due to the developer owes some money, so they
Yeah,
redo the contract for 10 more years up to 2028.
Yeah, when the market crashed, the developer wasn't paying the cable. So in exchange, he gave them an extension on the contract for another 10 years.
So when we talk about cable and internet.
Yes.
What is it? What is the cable? What is the cable?
So with Spectrum, yeah.
So I can understand where is that.
So what we're getting from Spectrum, right? Because this is a third party. The third party only is getting the check and paying Spectrum. That's it.
Those are the one with the 100 plus $.
Correct. So with Spectrum, we're getting the 2 cable boxes and the internet of 500 megabytes per second.
So your cable service.
You need to call them.
No, you call them and let them know that you're in a bulk program, and you get a router, you get 2 cable boxes.
Yep.
Yes.
We call it, they charge me 11 something a month.
Yeah.
I've been paying that for a year now.
How many oh, that's why. Okay, for a year. That's because before December of last year, 2022, we only used to get 1 box. So you're paying for the second box. You understand? But as of December, we get 2 boxes. So you need to call, and they're going to stop that. So that's the problem. They sent a flyer out from Spectrum stating that they were changing that, and that you had to turn in the little black boxes because those they're not supporting anymore. They wanted those back. Yeah. Okay. So to make the long story short, nothing is going to change with regards to the cable service. What's going to change is the price, and it's going to allow us to buy the cable service directly from Spectrum and not give money to somebody else. We have 5 years left in this contract that we have to honor, and after that, we can renegotiate our own contract with Spectrum and decide what we want to do at that time. So right now, we had the election. It's supposed with the vote, and we're supposed to. What was it? July 28th, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The last meeting in July was the meeting to vote. We fell short 77 votes. We extended the voting until September 21st. So if you haven't voted, now is the time to vote. If you haven't voted electronically, you should be receiving an email. My understanding is that Vote HOA now sends that email every other day, reminding you to vote. So if you're getting that email, it doesn't say Vote HOA now. It says via Sol, I vote. If it says I vote, pay attention. That's your key to create an account and consent to electronic voting, and you'll be able to lock in your vote electronically. You won't have to worry about coming to the meeting. If you already voted, you want to change your vote, come to the meeting or provide your proxy to any homeowner to bring it to the meeting for you. Yes.
So question, so I know that like Jody was anonymous, but do we know what household voted? Like I don't know who voted for what, but do we know what household? Because I feel like we should be targeting those specifically that's not anything.
Are you volunteering?
No, I think management had the list of who voted.
Who voted, who didn't. And literally, we reached out last time to those people that did not vote to see if we can get them to participate. But at the end of the day, it's their decision if they don't want to or they want to. We try to push them. Like we'll send email blasts out. The HOAs will send email blasts out as well, and we provide them proxies as well in order to do it. So we try to do as much as possible. Hopefully, we'll get the word around again. We're going to try to send another email out to you for that as well from the Soul Owners Association as well.
Okay, and everybody knows their next door neighbors, right? And their next door neighbors know their next door neighbors. So that's what needs to happen. Whoever you know that's next to you or around you, kind of comment to them that we're only 77 votes short. And it's not fair that 183 people already voted yes, and that 77 people are going to decide that we're going to continue to pay this money to this cable company. So I hope it passes. The budget, what we have done, because we don't know if it's gonna pass, we have created two proposed budgets. One is assuming that we win the vote, and the other is assuming that we don't win the vote. So you'll see it at the top banner where it says if special assessment is approved, then you see that the assessments will remain the same, at least for next year. And if the special assessment is not approved, we're looking at the single-family homes paying $207.39, and the townhomes will pay $360.39. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm looking at this that I printed out. And both approved special assessment or not approved list the townhomes total assessment as being $291,770, even though the individual per townhome assessment changes. So somebody didn't do the fourth line down, your single family total assessment, one that townhome total assessment is $291,770 on both.
Yeah, so.
Single family changes.
Correct. So remember that we're saving money, so there's more money now from the same money that we're paying. So we have to do something with that money, right? So here, what you're looking at is, so what you're looking at is the townhomes, first of all, their reserves next year are gonna be higher. So that's why you're seeing that they get more, they collect more from the townhomes. No, it's higher. He's saying it's higher. Yes.
It's 360.
The same amount. So the mistake.
Yeah, because the extras in this.
It's like the math lesson brought down.
It's not the same amount. It's 250 to 291. It's $40,000 difference. No te entiendo. Correct, but this is just the.
You got that? Are you seeing what he's talking about?
What you guys are talking about. So what it is that, remember that the townhome assessment is the difference that they're paying from the 175. The single family total assessment is everybody's paying. So what is wrong here is the title. It shouldn't say just single family total assessment.
It's pretty much every home. That's just how they distinguish this, and we do apologize on that. It's pretty much a common area where everybody's paying. We're not
Correct.
single family homes.
But the difference we see here by townhouse, it's fair, because the townhouse pays much the double than the houses. If you see the budget, 2023 budget, the townhouses pay the double, almost the double, 85-90% more than the houses. I never seen that in other places.
It's due to the reserve.
Always the townhouse pay more, but not like that.
Yeah, it's due to the reserve.
So what he's saying is true. So previously, the townhomes haven't collected enough reserves for all their repairs. So they've been basically operating in the red. So now with the new reserve study that was done prior to us coming on, it says that they have to pay more in order to have the reserves that they need to replace their roofs and their things in the future. What we hope, right now we have to follow the reserve study. What we hope is that when the lawsuit comes to fruition, hopefully, we can offset some of that, and then we could probably bring that down. We could redo the reserve study at that time and bring the cost down. But right now, we don't have a choice. That reserve study's there. It was already paid for. That's what the reserve people are saying the townhomes have to put away. And that's the only increase that the townhomes have had, aside from the $13 and change that was given, that was the raise for everybody.
I am so glad that you people are making repair in the home and in the townhouses. I'm so glad for that for the people who are townhouses.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I had to pay I paid $2,000 for fixing something because the other association never put it down,
Yeah. Well, we hope to change that and, little by little. And I know it's costing more, but you also have to keep in mind that everything's more expensive now. Even a loaf of bread is expensive now. But, we're doing our best.
So I have a question about that, everything's going expensive. So this is how I see it. I understand that everything, is getting expensive, but there's some items here that sometimes we confuse the homeowner. So the way I see this is that the reason we have this small group here is because I'm just assuming for everyone here, that we as homeowners, definitely we run with the budget, right? If I rent that house, I don't care if I charge the tenant, he's gonna have to pay however you guys wanna keep breaking every year the HOA. I will not care. But fees are getting so high that it's affecting who we stay here as a homeowner. So my question to you guys is, what was the mindset behind building the next year budget? Thinking on the real homeowners that we have here, and not homeowners that live somewhere else, and he's rented it, and you can raise the price, and they don't care because I'll raise the price, you pay for it, if not, I'll look for another tenant.
I see your point.
Problem solved. So, what is the strategy here to at least control the cost? Because, yeah, we can hear this all single day that everything is going high and high, but not everything. So that's what I just want to understand the strategy behind building next year.
Yeah.
Then it came, I was thinking with it, that it came from $70 from 22 to 30. So we just like kind of not afraid, but concerned about the upcoming year. Should we sell the house? Should we rent the house? Well, I'm not selling it, but I will definitely rent it. So then what you're gonna get here is a community full of rentals. And when you rent the house, I used to rent the house, and I didn't even care. I'm moving soon. I'm gonna go to the next one, whatever. I go to the mall or whatever it is. I don't care. I'm not gonna have to. I'm not gonna be there with the same passion. So just consider this when it comes down to building the budget, because we just gonna end with a bunch of rentals that they're not gonna care. And probably I'm gonna have my neighbor that is a rental that I don't mind, but I want people to care about the community. And going up and up is costing that. I will just rent it and move somewhere else that, at least I can have it down in my monthly payment.
Oh, and you want to answer it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to try to look at it. There's two components that come into this, right? The previous board had a long-standing kind of level set price for our assessments, right? So there was never an adjustment that kind of goes with your cost of doing operations, right? So it kind of felt originally like a big jump to try to just get us back on where we should be in terms of keeping up with cost of living, right? So that's the first kind of component that went with it. The second component that we looked through is in terms of what the HOA pays for, like our pay expenses, cable, management, landscaping. Those are pretty much the big three that we pay for. We have other expenses that are out there. So we've done some work on the background to try to control those costs, right? So when you look at it, I know like there's been comments from the back end community that I've seen on social media of like, why didn't we get an email or why didn't we get a mailing on that? Every mailing postage just put up, so we have to keep up with that. We charged for artisans to keep up with that. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to control those costs, which is why you got that big packet all at once, because it was cheaper for us to use a big packet. So it's not that we're not looking at those things. We have sat down and played with numbers and gone, all right, what can we do here? How can we do this? How can we do that to get you to where you are? So this again is a proposed budget. Right? There's still some tweaking to be done. We're not in a final state. hopefully we can revisit and continue to look at things, we take on management recommendations in terms of their experience, in terms of what they've done. There are just some things that are going to cost us, right? Your coupon books, we've got to have them printed, we've got to have them sent to you. There's certain documents we have to mail you by law, so there's costs that are going with that.
Well, I think that you guys are trying to, but this one I'm gonna break it down. You're gonna have, like I mentioned, homeowners that live here, homeowners that just rent the house, and then you're gonna have this group of homeowners that they're complaining. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be very honest. They just like to complain and they don't even look at the mail and they oh, you didn't send to me. You don't even care. But I see that the group that is here, at least, probably there's some people who are still working, or whatever, but at least we care about this, and we just put all the trust in that table there. So you guys can do what you have to do best for the community, but just the reason I'm bringing this up is just because sometimes we get distracted in some other stuff, and when I see these numbers here, it's hard for me to understand how this process works, but I'm pretty good on numbers, and I can use my common sense on that.
Okay.
Is that when you see something that is going up, the difference is going up $70,000 in a year, $40,000 in another department in the same year. So we're talking about a difference of what it is right now, almost 200,000 in a year. And that's when we raise the question for the board director. They missed this because I can tell there's a $7,000 difference here, $40,000 difference here, $7,000 here, and those stuff. So I'm not saying, and I'm not here to say, oh, I'm not paying that, or you guys are not doing the job, or whatever. No, that's not the case. It's just that I just don't want this community to turn into a rental community.
I agree. None of us want that, I assure you that.
But it is going to happen. That's the scary part. And then on top of that, when all the facilities here, that when we go, when the answer is no, that's the CDD issue. Oh, I mean, we're talking about months without the wrong day working. But I feel that I am not the person who should be going to the HOA, to the city. I think that we should be going to one voice to be that bridge, because I think that you guys have better connection with each other, and they're gonna look at us like, yeah, whatever, I'll call you later, or I'm too busy, or whatever it is. I think that they will take your like voice more serious than a homeowner reaching out to say, hey, what's going on with the gym that now has less equipment? Why I'm paying $360 when I don't even have security service? I mean, the gate service. Stuff like that, they're just concerned. And we really appreciate you guys' effort, because I know that half of this table work for free. They work, just for the community, and we respect that. But at the same time, it was your decision to leave that table. So you guys are gonna have, this kind of questions. So I just want to bring that to the.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I appreciate that, but, my stance on that, I share your sentiments. I wish we had one body that took care of everything, and we don't have to be hunting around for everybody. Unfortunately, this is the problem that we inherited. I'll be honest with you, when I bought my house, I didn't know what a CDD was. I didn't know, and I've learned over the years, and I had to adapt. But if I would have known what I know today about CDDs, I would have never bought here. You understand? And I would have saved myself all this headache. So, I hate to say that, but that's true. And everywhere, I work real estate part-time, and everywhere that I sell houses that has a CDD, after 2-3 years, people figure it out and they don't like it.
But there's no way that we can communicate to the board, and the board can be that bridge to make things happen, because.
Well, that you can do that by submitting to the website if it's an HOA issue. If it's a CDD issue, CDD has another website that has all the emails or the supervisor, and you can contact the supervisor through, yeah.
So what he's trying to say is that we should have like for example, like our management should be the ones handling all the CDD stuff for us. And so they're saying that he would like to see that the homeowners don't have to go to two bodies for different things. But unfortunately, right.
Because you guys have stronger voice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not that I don't want.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So you can contact the board, like here, by going to the VSO website, right, the HOA side, to contact the CDD board members. Then you go to the VSOCDD.org, and you can find the emails there for the board, and you can put the issue that you want, and that board member can help. You know, in your issue, like you said, you want that step so you can go further and see what it can be done. But
I think I get what you're saying, right? You want them to work together for a better community.
That's the whole
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're getting at, right? There's challenges on both sides, right? We were set up in a way that's not typical, right? So there's some challenges there, especially with like an HOA. Usually HOA owns this building. So there's some weird nuances. We're trying to mend that relationship between the two boards so that we can work together. It will never become one entity, like just because of the way it is. And as it turns out with the CDD is essentially a government entity. So things do take a little bit longer because there's more restrictions. Where on the HOA side, we don't necessarily have some of those restrictions. So I see what you're saying. We're working towards it, and this just affirms that we need to continue working hard towards that.
But you know how that will happen a lot faster if more homeowners participated on both boards.
Mm-hmm.
If both boards were completely independent of each other, more would get done.
Yeah.
Right now, the problem is there's not a lot of people that want to take these seats, and that's the problem. You understand? So we need leaders. That's really what we need, you know, and because our community is very complex. I mean, management is noticing this. We have so many moving parts, so many things we can't do. Our documents are very restrictive in some ways, and in other ways they're not. And it's so intricate that we need more eyes on it, you know? I work full-time, I know he works full-time, and you know, a lot of us work, some of them others don't, but we try our best. I mean, I can tell you, I put a good 12 hours a week doing this. You know, either by answering phone calls, by visiting people at their house, by going and look at something that's broken, and you know, I have to do it if it's going to get done. You understand? But if we had more people, like that's why we created the committees, because we want more people to fill those seats, so we have more bodies doing the work, so that we can kind of delegate more stuff and get more information, right? Because if I'm the one doing 10 things, I'm not going to do them very well, but I'm going to do them, right? Where we had 5 people doing the same 10 things, they get better done and a lot quicker. So that's my take on it. I share your concerns, but it's not going to happen unless we get more leaders in this community step up and want to make a difference.
So how are we going to deal with the budget?
On the budget side, where it says we are approving the special assessment, are we keeping a separate ledger from the income that's being generated from that?
Say that again?
Are we keeping a separate ledger from the income that would be generated from the special assessment? It's not on there. And neither is the line item where we have to buy out the contract.
So that's something we have to put on there.
That's something
Yeah, we missed that, yeah.
So they're on our income section for 2024. Well, no, technically it's good.
What's that?
We're not collecting it in 2024 though, are we?
No,
it's going to be in 2023. It's going to be in
Yeah,
2023.
that's why it's not on there.
But the expense would be on 2024.
Correct.
If you look at the
Which means we would show a
financial
deficit.
year,
Which means we would show a deficit between our expenditures and our income in 2024.
We can always move it a couple of days, I mean, and make it due on January 1st instead of December 31st, and then everything happens in 2024.
We could pay it by the end of the year and that would change our actual financials. But it's not, I mean, unless you're actually planning on doing that, it needs to be in the 2024 budget, which is going to look weird for people who aren't paying attention because the special assessment revenue would be realized in this calendar year, but the expense would be incurred next calendar year, which means our budget is gonna be over by $475,000. I just want people to freak out and be like, what?
Go ahead, sir.
Question on this, single-family reserve, if I understand correctly, Chris was talking about before, it's gotta be voted on by those 70 homeowners?
No, that one's talking about for the roads. That was already set up by the developer.
Yeah, the
No,
vote,
no, but does it have to be voted on
By the reserve.
To do the reserve account? Yeah.
So we could take that $97,000 rate off the budget?
So, yeah, so we assumed, right, and let me clarify this, Larry. We assumed that we were gonna be able to do a reserve for the single-family homes to cover all these things. But now that we're learning legally that it's not feasible, you're right. We're gonna have to take that off and.
That 97,000 wasn't for roads?
Yeah,
Single,
but
roads and all.
we did it, we lumped it for roads and mailboxes. So now that you're saying that, that number's gonna have to change. But either way, we're not gonna be able to collect that till 2025 anyway, so you just gotta come off.
that would just be the legal.
So I just did the math on that. It would bring down it would bring down the assessment to $152.
And next,
And next year, if the special assessment passes. And the other one would come down also, right?
yeah, but it's better for management just to fix those numbers and
All
then
right,
just
so
send it right
we
away.
still got a couple of tweaks we need to make before next meeting.
But remember, the budget is not obligated to be sent until it's approved.
Correct.
Once it's approved, then it
In
gets. has to be
September,
sent.
correct.
We don't have to mail out. We included this in the mail out
So you
because
guys-
we were sending a bunch of other stuff anyway, and we wanted people to know the numbers. That's basically why it was included, but we weren't obligated to share that until it's approved.
So right now with those 97, so it's gonna look, you know,
It would
less.
put out a 150, 181
Mhm.
for the single family common areas section.
And that's the,
That's because that's the only one that went down.
We'll round up to 152, right?
You're rounding up, so yes, I like round number, even numbers, I hate cents on my,
and that's if it passes, and then if it doesn't,
that's the reduction of $97,000 that we put in for the single family home reserves, 97,660.
correct. And then if it doesn't pass the assessment, because it's higher, you know,
If it doesn't pass,
It's around 23 hours less.
It's 20,
184.
2318 is the 97,000.
184.20,
20.
and again, we'll round that off. But these are
What's
just-
18420?
184.20, that's if it doesn't pass the assessment.
That's
Oh,
if
okay.
it doesn't pass.
And 151 if it
Sounds
passes.
like we have some tweaking yet to do.
Correct.
We still have tweaking to do.
Yeah, by September 21st, we have to be good to go. Shiny.
We got time, I just want it before that.
Correct. No, correct.
Thank you.
You get it on the 19th.
So more to come, again, as somebody mentioned, we were trying to give you a preview, and also to try to give you an idea of what we're doing, and what we're thinking. If you have any questions about specific line items, that maybe you like, why did this jump or that jump, we can definitely, talk offline on that. After the meeting, we're more than happy to have those discussions, we have specifics. But again, it shows that we have more work to do. We knew this wasn't final, right? We knew this was just a proposed. We wanted to get out there. Really, we wanted to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like with the assessment, how we live, and without the assessment being passed. And hopefully that would motivate those who haven't voted to potentially get out and vote, right? So that was kind of the idea, to give you a round number, rough numbers of what's going on. As you can see, there's still some clarifying to do. We did some of that legal, we're going to continue to work through this to get to the final budget for next month. So we're happy after the meeting to, walk through anything that you may have specific questions on.
I got one more question. If the HOA is not responsible for it, you're talking about the one transferring it to the CDD, should we wait on the study, or will it help the HOA try to?
They're gonna want that information.
The CD thing is not gonna happen this year or next year. It's gonna take a while. So I wouldn't bet on that. We're gonna have to move forward with the reserve and do our part until we figure out what's gonna happen.
They would want that number anyway, so if we go ahead and get it, at least we would be armed with that information.
Helps the association.
So
out at the
open
end of the
the
day.
phone. So we open it for.
Anybody else? Anybody have any question on the numbers? No? Anybody want to talk about anything else?
Anybody wants their neighbor's house, their proxy?
Well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate your support.
Approve the signs for art and.
Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to bring up. So we need to start, putting notice up for ARC and compliance committee. I'd like for us to, authorize a small budget for us to be able to purchase signs. I'd like to put signs here near the clubhouse and also near the front. And, you know, the big sign that we have, it's tedious to be changing it every week. But I was thinking if we could make just like small, like cardboard type signs that can go in the windows or something that are in the community, then that we can ask the CDD permission to put them there.
You can sidebar on that to see exactly what you're looking at, I guess.
Okay, I'll show you,
You guys
yeah.
have, because you guys have budget for that, which I think.
You know how
do.
much it's gonna cost?
I would say no more than 120 bucks.
Is the intent to have that like purchased ASAP? Because you can.
Yeah, it has to happen right away.
Because you could do you could just say up to X number of hours.
That's what I'm saying.
Dry erase marker on
Yeah,
it.
put
and you
250,
decide- However, you have to consider that
Yeah.
starting on October.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Agenda, the full agenda.
You guys, would you guys consider maybe approving like 200, 250 to get those 3 signs?
Three signs?
Yeah, because if we're gonna do it that way, we'll do it the same way every time. We'll do the compliance, ARC, and the board meeting, and we'll put the same sign, same place. You're just gonna
Does
say
it
that.
make more sense though to run, schedule out for, 6 months to a year, place them on the bulletin board that's in the front of the clubhouse and just notice there? Can we do that?
I like that, however,
Yeah.
again, with the new, but with the new.
Did they add
law,
the agenda thing?
Florida is
Yes, they
having
All right,
October first, have to post it.
Let me adjourn the meeting and we'll talk about everything.
I can get out of the way.
Meeting adjourned, 8:40.
Diga.
8:35, man, my eyes are bad today.
He rounds up.
Yeah.
My eyes are tired.
So, for Florida.